Welcome back, everyone. We have gathered together again for our weekly installment of the top 10 selling Magic cards this week from February 3rd to the 9th of 2024. And there is a real banger of a surprise going on inside this video, so stay tuned because this party is just beginning. Hi everyone and welcome back. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again guys for hanging out with the Moxman today for our top 10 video of the hottest selling cards. And of course, if you enjoy my content, just hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, new content every day. And of course, don't forget, if you're shopping for any cards in Magic the Gathering on TCG Player, use my affiliate link found in the description of this video. Show that support. Now let's take a look at our number 10 card. This is Underground Mortuary. Of course, we have it from Murders at Karlov Manor. 2,034 sales is a far cry from what we've seen recently with the overall sales in the market, showing the demand for some of these cards are not as great as we anticipated with the release of this product. Now, next week I am expecting higher numbers, but either way, $10,149 in sales volume is pretty good. But let's not forget that last week some of these cards were only $2.50. Their surveillance lands have showed a real uptick, a real appetite from players to buy into this market right now, but there's also a lot of speculation being fueled in this market, which means I'm not sure myself if these cards are going to hold value, so be warned that the prices here might be swinging around a little bit like George of the Jungle on a monkey vine. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the number 9 card, and this is the Forensic Gadgeteer. Okay, I like the name Gadgeteer. It sounds like Inspector Gadget a little bit. Now, 2,134 sales. You can see a bit of a rhythm already to what we're noticing in the overall MTG finance market, and that is overall lower sales volumes on Murders at Karlov Manor. Now, there's only 2 cards in, but still $7,148, which is equal to what? 1 beta mox? This is where we're at right now in the market space. Although people are really going after the singles market, it has been a slow rise to what we've seen in the last couple of weeks to the build-up at Murders at Karlov Manor. I've also been told a lot less boxes are selling across the board, so as I get more information this week, I will be relaying that to all the fans of the channel, so just stay tuned. I'll have more information coming after I've compared data with a lot of the stores and details that I go searching for. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our number 8 card. Now this is, of course, AAG the Quake Mole. I've been trying to use this myself for the last week. A couple of arena match things, trying things out, trying some different combinations. Now, 2,400 sales is pretty decent because this card's still $15. That's $36,000 US in overall sales volume. So the dollar amount on this card is actually quite impressive. It shows a lot of players are trying to find ways to make this card work. And I'll be honest, like we've spoken before about big powerful creature cards like this, an 8/4 that's only 4 to cast and you can get extra attack phases, the real difference here, guys, is this thing can be killed instantly. So you better be using Tameo safekeeping and stuff like that to keep this alive. Use the right combination of cards and this thing's deadly. Use it with too much aggression, you get absolutely nowhere. So where is this card's value going to go? It's going to go down. It's going to settle at around 10 bucks. Just keep an eye on it. You'll see what I'm talking about in a few weeks from now. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next card. And this is the Doomkeeper Thrall. And of course, you guys know that Thralls have a special little place in the Moxman's heart. So the number 7 card with 2,904 sales, or $8,305.44 in sales volume. But look at the downtrend on the card. Now, it has flash. It's a 1/2 flyer for 2. Artifacts and creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger is a very interesting effect, which means it'll have later implications in future sets. So honestly, I'd buy a playset of 4. I would hedge my bets and get this card now. It's still going to trend down a little bit further, but what's 20, 30 cents among friends? Just get the 4 out of the way. That way, if this card does have a massive upshift in price, you're already positioned with your 4 copies with no real risk involved because it's not a really expensive card. And let's face it, it's Thralls. We all show respect to the Thrall. I can't help it. Thrall Champion just has that place, and you never know when these things are going to come back and make a tribal return. It'd be awesome. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our number 6 card this week. And when we're talking number 6, we are still hanging around here with Delnay. Now, I look at this card as the StreetWise Lookout with 3,105 sales or $77,190. This thing has quite the powerhouse attachment of price right now, and there's been a lot of swinging on the prices of these cards, and I don't think they're settled down yet. So be aware of this when you're looking at cards like this. We don't know if they're going to go higher or settle down into a more moderate price range, depending on how players can really utilize these in Eternal formats like Commander, as well as Modern, and of course Standard. So we have to wait a little bit longer, but that price point would have me kind of standing back and waiting, just because I know these cards can be reprinted, and that dulls the knife of the value of cards like this for the Moxman. All right, guys, let's go ahead now and take a look at Pick Your Poison, which is our number 5 card this week. Now, coming in with 3,109 sales, it barely, just barely beats out Delnay, the Streetwise Lookout, but it's only $1,554 in overall sales. That's 3,000 copies. That's because it's a common. It's super cheap. Now, although it's seeing an increase in price, be aware, guys, this thing is shifting up in price. It's getting 5 cents here, 6 cents there, kind of every few days. It seems to be gaining a little bit. But I don't see it even reaching the $1.50 mark. It's great. It does some things that are going to help you out in your deck construction, but it is not going to be the be-all, end-all. So keep that in mind when you're using cards like this. It's playable. It's going to be played for a very, very long time because of the multitude of effects that you can get from a card like this. But that doesn't mean the value is going to go up. It's still just a common, and it's quite easily found inside the boxes. So let's stop in at number 4. Our number 4 card this week is Aurelia the Law Above. Now, this thing has been plummeting in price. This thing is not holding value. It's having trouble finding its way, and it's got 3,480 sales because it keeps going down in price. The lower this thing falls, and remember, guys, this thing is a 1 white, 1 red, and 3 generic for 4/4 flying vigilance haste. But what I think people are tending to forget right now is you're dead on turn 4. You don't get to cast this thing. You are already dead if you're playing in an arena match against some red hate anger deck that's going to get you done. Remember what you're playing against. Remember what field you're playing in. And that's why cards like this just aren't as appealing. Wizards has ramped up the kill ratio of a red kill deck that it basically, I can't even get a mana on turn 4. I'm already dead, and I know what the walls have written for me. So the Law Above isn't going to help me if I'm already dead, no matter how pretty that card looks. Let's stop in now at the number 3 card this week, and this is Thundering Falls. Now, 2 things I want to note on this card. Just like we saw before, there's a massive upswing in the price. Be aware of that. 3,600 sales, $17,964 in sales volume. That hurts a little bit when you feel it. But I look at that and I say to myself, maybe it's going to go higher. Maybe these things are going to hit the $7, $8 mark. It is a Surveil card, which is kind of nice. And I'll be honest, I like this artwork for some reason. The more I look at this artwork, the more it kind of reminds me of Greyhawk a little bit from back in my D&D days. It kind of reminds me of Forgotten Realms. So I have this kind of feeling that I like looking at this artwork for some reason. So for that alone, it gets a thumbs up. I like the art. I can't help myself. Now, we're going to drop down. We're going to be taking a look at the number 2 card. And the number 2 and the number 1 are things I want to talk about here, okay? So when we're taking a look at number 2 and the way the market is going, this Cryptic Coat, most of you guys are probably aware. I mean, it's had a little bit of a noise right now. 4,959 sales is very respectable. But look at the market price versus the average price. Right now, I'm giving you the average price, which is $59,000 US. But that coat being able to manifest things and bring those things to the forefront is kind of a scary thing. I know there are combinations going on right now. I can see my own little brain ticking away. And as I've said before, there are a lot better players out there who really make these things connect. And that means the playability of this card going forward is pretty much assured for now. Now, again, it's 3 mana. It still costs quite a bit. But if you can stick around the game long enough and make this game get dragged out, cards like this are going to have play value for you. So keep that in mind. Now, would I buy it at this price? No, I wouldn't. I hopefully would find it cheaper in about 90 days. I'm not willing to bet the farm on a $15 card. It's not going to happen. Now, let's take a look at the number 1 card. This is the top selling card this week, and this is, yes, the crime novelist. Murder, She Wrote, Jessica Lansbury coming at you as she lunges over the table and starts writing her newest volume of You're Gonna Die. This is the crime novelist. 5,352 sales, $20,000 in sales volume, and the price is still trending down. I've tried to use this a few times already in Arena to see if I can make connections in Standard. I cannot make this thing go off good enough before I die. Okay, that's the kicker I'm having. Mixing artifacts with other ways of getting big, booming, kind of like enchantment spells out from red has not worked so far, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen in future sets or ways that we connect it together. If you know any cool combos, put that down in the comment section. I'd like to know, and I'd like to try some different iterations of that deck I'm working on in Arena and maybe make it come to life at a local Standard match. So I would appreciate any help I can get on this one. But you know what? We are not done this video because we are now here at the Patron Demigods. We are here with all the supporters of our channel, the patrons, the YouTube membership members who make this content possible. And of course, as I update the boards, please be aware it takes time to change these things, but I appreciate everyone's patience. Thanks again. Well, here we are. You've made it to the Ramble Jam. You've made it to the after credits. We have a lot to go over here. We have a conversation to start as we talk out our ear at the Ramble Jamble. Doesn't need to make sense, just needs to get spoken. Said aloud. Number one, the Murder Karlov Manor sales are much lower than I anticipated for the singles market. I actually expected a bit of a home run because I know there was a lot of singles of players trying to buy pre-sale pricing. It didn't pan out. And from what I got from some of the stores, although I'm waiting, guys, I need a lot more data, but objectively so far, it looks like stores just didn't open as much and they sold out of the stuff they got because they're not willing to take the risk. That's one thing. But there's also no card challenging for the top 10. So we didn't see 2,500 copies of Lorien revealed. We didn't see Kha'Zix. We didn't see our normal modern cards we've seen recently. No March the Machine cards made it on. No Wilds of Eldraine. Nothing took their place. So it's March the Machines, 0. Wilds of Eldraine, 0. Dominaria United, 0. But instead, yes, we still have a whole bunch for Murders at Karlov Manor. But we don't even have any Ixalan. So what's going on in the market space? It looks like the sales are just lower. And they're quieter, and the market seems kind of muted this week. But what I did notice is there's one area of the market doing a little bit of barking, and that's the reserve list. You're here at the end, I'm telling you. There are some unusual things people seem to be taking a bit of an interest in. So we'll cover that tomorrow. Of course, if you guys stick around, you're going to see my top 10 reserve list video tomorrow. And of course, the live stream 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. I hope you guys can stick around and catch that in the evening. We'll cover part of this, assuming I get information from all the stores and the other sources of data that I go looking for. This is one of those crazy days. You're just like, wow, that's not what I expected to have happen. I thought the sales were going to be higher, and it just didn't pan out. Guys, thanks a lot for hanging out. Thanks for being there. And just make sure, clean your mess. You were about to get up and leave that plate on the counter. You think we didn't notice, but we did. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow.